Welcome to the 5. I am Tyler Douthit again, flying solo today because as a business at TFD Supplies, sometimes people are out. Ben had a baby just yesterday. Actually, it was last night around 7:30 last night, had a baby. And super excited for him and his family. He's off for a little bit to get in the groove of that new baby type feel. We're also, Josh is out a day or a while. He had an appendicitis, so he's out recovering. So our actual work staff is down. So more than normal, need the actual workers stay doing legitimate business work, not just sitting around talking about the news. So me with the most flexibility, I'm here by myself once again. So TFD Supplies today on the 5 things you need to know today. 1, Chrissy Teigen is and has always been a bully. There's a COVID-19 treatment in the works, very promising. Fake reviews are all over Amazon, not a little bit, but a lot. 2 more, Beauty and the Beast limited musical series at Disney Plus to fill in the backstory, and Rachel McAdams was maybe going to be in The Devil Wears Prada. Starting at the top, Chrissy Teigen. I've always thought super overrated. Married to John Legend, it's like a model thing, I don't really know, but she's kind of known for Twitter and like super high cheekbones. So she's been trolling people for years and years on Twitter. I was always kind of surprised when people troll so hard. It's kind of like you're a bully. You're watching people's posts, putting mean things on there, and people think you're all good and well, but isn't that kind of the opposite of being kind? I've always thought so. People do what they want online. It's not my business, but to pretend you're not a bully when you're actively trolling, waiting for mean things to say, that's just kidding yourself. Some examples. All right, let's see. Trying to find some of these on the fly here. Okay, so here's something in about Farrah Abrams that Chrissy Teigen wrote. Farrah Abrams, this is a quoted tweet. Now, quoted tweet. This is not my words. This is reading the quoted tweet. Farrah Abrams now thinks she is pregnant from her sex tape. In other news, you're a whore and everyone hates you, Teigen wrote. Whoops. Not other news, sorry. That seems mean to me. It's just mean-spirited. If you say mean things, kind of makes you a mean person. I don't know. I've always been kind of think she's overrated. Let's see. Here's one, borderline, only because it involves racism. But here's one she wrote. Good. Racist people like you deserve to suffer and die. You might as well be dead. Your career's over. Just watch. That was someone named Costello. Sorry, I'm a little bit unprepared for this today. Been flying through actual works. Michael Costello, a fashion designer who wrote some racist type things online, and this is what she said about racist people and how racism is bad, but saying someone deserves to suffer and die once again makes you sound kind of mean. Who knows? But she's at least people are admitting and realizing she's kind of mean. That's not saying she's a bad person, but is she mean? I think you could say she is. All right, number 2, on a COVID-19 treatment. For a long time, we've been focused so hard on the vaccine, which is safe and effective, and you should be getting it. Don't be an anti-vaxxer. Don't be that person. You're making it hard for the rest of the people using their brains. Get the vaccine. But the vaccine is not available to everybody yet, especially kids, and it's not available everywhere. So what? Just like anything else, there's a flu vaccine, which is not perfect, but helps. There's also treatments such as Tamiflu. So there's a Regeneron Pharmaceuticals has been doing a treatment here for a solid COVID-19 treatment with promising numbers. They had about 10,000 participants, and it pretty much helps create antibodies to help the symptoms not be so bad. Where is the information I had here? All right, once again, on the wrong thing, but it was saying that it was significantly cutting back serious cases and significantly decreasing hospitalizations, because not having any symptoms is great, not being contagious is all good and well, but it's also good if you get sick, you can just write it out at home instead of ending up in a hospital bed. There's a whole huge scientific thing here, which I'm not gonna read, but it pretty much lowers your chances of a severe option. So you're less likely to end up in a hospital, less likely to end up in the ICU, more likely to write it out at home with some ibuprofen and sleep, which of course is good because, in my opinion, when you're tackling a intense, severe problem such as COVID-19, it will be good to have more than one solution. Preventing people getting a vaccine, of course, is ideal, but that is not a perfect, and every net has a couple holes here and there no matter how much you try to patch, and the ones that get through, it'd be awful nice to have good treatments as well. So let's hope there's continued progress on the treatment front. Number 3, Amazon is full of fake reviews. You might not realize, you probably, like most consumers that shop there, you might look at the star rating, see how many number of stars it has, how many 5, 5, 1, all the way through the middle. You might glance through a few reviews, but there are so many sellers trying to game the system. Why? Amazon is a household name, billions and billions and billions of dollars of transactions taking place. There's money to be made. And where there's money to be made, it leads to people trying to game the system. The more money to be made, the more people try to game the system. And people know, sellers know, sellers know that buyers look at ratings and reviews. So naturally, they want to make those better for their products. Amazon makes you show better. Some of the tricks being used, and Amazon tries to combat it, but it's a huge, huge marketplace. Sellers try to game the system all the time by offering gift cards, rewards, things like that. Leave a good review, we'll send you a gift card. Leave a good review, we'll give you this. Leave a good review, we'll give you something for free. How about we give you something for free? How about you buy it and then we reimburse you for it, and then you give a review. There's a lot of stuff going on like that, and they Amazon tries to police it, but it is very hard to do. This is the Wall Street Journal article talking about it. Let's see, flood reviews. Amazon says they try to analyze about 10 million reviews a month with a combination of humans and machine learning, which they admit is not perfect, but is constantly working to try to improve. Let's see, there's a lot of things, and the reason people do it, in case you don't ever know, is the better reviews you get. It's not just people are more likely to buy. Amazon pushes those listings higher. For example, if you're searching for, what's a good example? I'm sitting on a stool. If you're searching for a bar stool, there are lots of people selling bar stools, and who comes up 1 versus 5 versus 10 versus 500 in those listings has a lot of financial incentive to game that system to rank higher for those searches. And that is why people do it so much. There's also Facebook groups where people rate each other's things. There's we sell on Amazon, and it really attempts to have things be clean, but there are holes in every system. And there are stories in the seller forums of people getting their seller accounts getting banned because a family member bought one of their products and left a review. In Amazon's world, that is too close of an incentivized review, not a fair review. So they got banned because, say your mom, I'm gonna do my son a favor and buy their stuff and leave a review. And then they get their son banned, not knowing, because they had fantastic intentions. But there's a whole bunch of Facebook groups, people rating each other's things. So it's a nonstop thing. They try to police it, but it's like when you picture the border in the south of the country, where there's so many miles of border and only so many agents to patrol things, you end up with a lot of gaps. And when you have so many millions of things being sold and only so many people and machines that can analyze that, and machines, they do it a lot, but they're not as good as people looking at things to game the system. There's flaws in that too. So they're trying, but it's a big problem. But they also want to make sure people keep buying because they get a cut of all those sales. So they have to balance that because they have a financial incentive to make sure that they don't kick off too many sellers either. It's a big game. There's so much money to be made, and when there's money to be made, there's corruption to follow. All around. Tale as old as time. Number 4, Beauty and the Beast, a limited musical series in the works at Disney+. This is from CNN. This is going to be a live action version, which is a prequel to the 2017 live action film. So in case you guys don't know, that was kind of set off the latest rash of live action versions of animated Disney classics. That was one of the first ones, which had Emma Watson, what's the guy's name? Luke Evans as Gaston. Now this is the prequel will follow Gaston LeFou, who is Josh Gad, who's all about those Disney movies, and LeFou's stepsister, Tilly, which I don't know who that is, played by someone called Brianna Middleton. And here's the blurb they get, which is interesting. For anyone who's ever wondered how a brute like Gaston and a goof like LeFou could have become friends and partners, or how a mysterious enchantress came to cast that fateful spell on the prince turned beast, this series will provide those answers and provoke a whole new set of questions. It is interesting to think about how all these things happen. They have these quick, like 5-minute expositions of what's happening. Enchantress comes, here's your beast, here's your time pause, these people forgetting about their spouses. It's this whole thing, now you're a beast. Why is LeFou and Gaston friends when they seem so incredibly different? Interesting questions to answer, and the prequel claims they will answer that. Just one more pile of Disney Plus streaming exclusive content, as they've said they're pushing it farther and farther and farther into that all the time. Final, number 5, if you've ever seen Devil Wears Prada, which many people have, it's a pretty good movie. Meryl Streep is a good actress. People know that. She's fantastic in that. She does her quiet voice the whole time. She's got that going on. Anne Hathaway plays a memorable role in there. I've always thought mildly overrated Anne Hathaway. But, so the studio, this is the 15th anniversary oral history of the movie. The director, Dave Frankel, which I have not heard of, but I also never looked up the director of Devil Wears Prada. They had several people they were considering. Anne Hathaway, obviously, Rachel McAdams, Scarlett Johansson, Natalie Portman, Kate Hudson, and Kirsten Dunst were all on the list. The studio really wanted Rachel McAdams, and they offered it to her 3 times. So the studio was insisting that they wanted her to play that role, and she was insisting she did not want to play it, judging by the fact that she turned it down after being offered a role 3 times. Now, I don't know if you've ever analyzed Rachel McAdams' movies. She's a pretty good actress. But in every movie, like especially her really well-known ones like The Notebook, for example, look at her movies. She always plays a rich person who likes art. I don't know why that is, but if you look at that pattern, it's true. Mark my words. And she could not say yes to this role because she would not have been a rich person that loved art. They could have made it work to love art, I think, in the movie, but they couldn't have made it work for her to be rich because that would have really skewed the whole plot of her and the internship and getting into business, because she wouldn't have had the same dynamic of the lifestyle. Because if you're rich, you could have had a lifestyle. So look at Rachel McAdams and why she's always in movies where she's a rich person that loves art. I don't know why. Maybe she loves art in real life. Actually, I heard one time she was a professional or semi-professional figure skater as a young child. Who knew? So the 5 topics for today. Chrissy Teigen is finally acknowledging that she's been a bully for a long time. I'm not going to go as far as say she's a bad person, but she's been mean to people online for a long time. Just own it. COVID-19, a promising treatment from Regeneron, working its way through the rest of the world, because in addition to a safe vaccine, an effective treatment would always be something you would like to have if you go to the doctor or have to deal with this pandemic stuff again, which might be a thing. Let's see what else we got here. Fake reviews all over Amazon. Sellers trying to get in the system to make lots of money. Amazon trying to police it, but also realizing if they police it too hard, it'll hurt their revenue. So they have to use careful steps there as well. Beauty and the Beast, limited musical series. Hear that limical? I combined limited and musical. Limited musical series for Disney Plus, filling some of the backstory of how things came to be. And Rachel McAdams was not close to being in the Devil Wears Prada, but the studio sure wanted her to be there. They offered her 3 times. She said no 3 times. Well, I would probably say I think The Notebook is a better movie than the Devil Wears Prada. Both were big breakout roles for both those actresses. Who knows? This has been The 5. We're all over social media. YouTube, Facebook are good ones to watch the whole video. If you want to listen to the audio, check it out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all over anywhere you get your podcasts. You can look up TFD Supplies. You can look up TFD Talks. Either one of those will point you right to this. Thank you again for watching. My name is Tyler Douthat with TFD Supplies. Have a great day.